Welcome to the Jay Wilson Show. Hello, everybody. Now, y'all get your eyes ready. Get your eyes ready. I'm just saying, get your eyes ready because I'm wearing some bright colors. It's really icky outside right now, so I said I'm gonna wear some bright colors today. Hold on for a minute. All right, y'all. Hold on for a minute. Woo, there's a lot going on today, and we're gonna talk about it. So, good morning, everyone. Let me see who's on. What's up, Janice? What's up, Libra? Butterfly? I'm Jay Burrell. Can't you tell? Anyway, you all, it's two major things that's going on and that I see. And I'm going to say this. First of all, my condolences to Rico on the loss of his dog. And that's very sincere. But I'm going to say this. Watch what you're saying to other people. Watch what you're doing to other people. My heart goes out because education, emotional intelligence is critical. And when you don't have these skills, and when you're always looking at somebody else, you're not focusing on you. And I always ask the question, how is that going to help you? How is this going to help you? And this is not about the dog. This is about the dog owner. Because the dog ain't really have nothing to do with this. But the dog probably was suffering. So again, my condolences to the dog, Rico Jr. But I'm gonna focus back on the owner now. Yeah, Rico's dog is no longer with us. Let me focus in on this. You being upset with me is never helping you. You even talked about my dog. But I felt bad for you because you have limited options. You have limited access. And you're always upset and talking about other people. But you don't look at yourself. You talked about Lyric, but Lyric has dog insurance. Lyric can go to any dog hospital here and get taken care of and get seen. Lyric has medical care. So if something is wrong with my dog, I don't have to feed it human medicine. If Lyric was pooping blood in her stool, Lyric would be at the animal hospital down the street. They have a 24-hour emergency room. You gave the dog a bath. That's external. What the dog was going through was internal. Now, I'm glad that you're going to work, and I feel bad for Rico because Rico's dog is the only thing Rico really has that was a friend, and he really fought for that dog. I'm really sad to hear that because that was Rico's friend, and unfortunately, Rico is going to go into some type of depression because he doesn't deal with death and grief very well, and it's sad. It's sad, but he doesn't deal with that very well. The bus driver had nothing to do with your dog's death. You always blame other people. The veterinarians and the vet techs had nothing to do with your dog dying. and the prices that they set. But you were really getting mad at those people. And my heart goes out to you because you are really limited. You're not stupid. You're not less than. You're limited. And you always coming after other people because it helps you feel some kind of way. But you cussing me out, you being concerned about a ring is not going to bring your dog back. And see, that should have been the real focus. That should have been the real focus. That autopsy cost $1,400. You didn't have it. You were telling the lady that you get the money on Wednesday. That lady don't care about no Wednesday. So first of all, you in New York, and they just don't care. You are in New York. Cash now. You don't even have enough money to cremate your dog because you said you were straight broke. And my heart goes out to you because you always talking about how other people obtain stuff and all of this, but you can't even properly bury your dog. And then you're going to get the dog, put it in a freezer. Whose freezer? What freezer? I know you ain't talking about the freezer that you put your food in. Rico, are you serious right now? Now, that tells me that Rico truly cares for his dog because he didn't want to leave the dog there. But you don't have the capacity to properly take care of that dog, even in death, because you cannot put that dog in your freezer that you put your food in. And then you get mad at people because they're saying, Rico, you're not thinking straight. Now, I really feel sorry for you because you were crying, you are in grief. But Rico, you need to invest in yourself. This should be a wake-up call to you that I got to do better and invest in myself. Because when I can't even bury my own dog, and if I can't do this for a dog, like hell can I do this for myself? And the big takeaway is that, Rico, you're focusing on people you don't even know. You are focusing on folk who can't do nothing for you. You are really getting mad and out of sorts over people who can't do shit for you, while you got real problems in your life. And you worried about a ring that's already paid for and taken care of. Your priorities are wrong. This is another thing. Don't get mad because people are talking about it, Rico. This should have been a private, intimate moment. But you put it on YouTube so the world can see. You can't tell people how they should respond to it. I am very mixed in this. My heart goes out to the dog because I'm really wondering what the dog had to go through. I'm wondering what the dog's life was like. Did you feed the dog right? Did the dog have proper medical? We know the dog didn't have no insurance, because if the dog would have had insurance, then you would have been able to pay for the autopsy and the cremation. So how were you taking care of the dog? When was the dog getting his regular shots? Those shots go about for $125. My dog just had her shots. So my thing is, what did the dog go through? My heart goes out to the dog. But then I have to focus on you. Because if you can't even take care of your dog, If you can't even bury your dog, and the lady kept on telling you, we cannot hold the dog. We cannot hold the animal. And you telling the lady when you getting paid and stuff, that lady don't give a damn when you get paid. She's saying either you pay me now or you pay me later. Now, I think you was picking at me about Klarna, or what? That's the name, Klarna, but maybe you should have had Klarna or Affirm. That's what they say. The other one was Affirm. Because if you would have had that, you would have been able to get that autopsy and cremated that dog. And I mean, like I said, my heart goes out to the dog because the dog shouldn't have had to suffer like that. The dog shouldn't have to suffer like that. And it was a time that I would really feel something for you, but I don't feel nothing for you because all you do is shit on people. All you do is come on and do the you do crap. And this unfortunate, tragic situation shows us where you are in your life. Because I'm gonna tell you this, my friend, if something were to happen to my dog, she's gonna be taken care of medically because she has insurance. Any leg breaks, insurance. She takes her Simparica Trio every month for ticks, fleas, and heartworms. She get her rabies shot, on point. You talked about my dog was malnourished and all of this, and again, nobody said anything about yours. But see, now yours is gone. And I don't feel no ways. Shakim is another one. I don't even watch him because he's a sad situation. The sad part about Shakim is not dumb. That's another thing. That's another Liberian girl. They need the money now. So if you ain't gonna help me, shut the F up and or send me some money. No, Rico, people are not responsible for that dog. That dog is your responsibility. And again, if it was so important, why are you putting it on YouTube? Why are you putting it on YouTube? If my dog died, I would tell you all after the fact. I would tell you all what happened, but I would never post the whole thing. Because if you put it on YouTube, people are going to talk about it. People are going to talk about this yellow sweater today. It is what it is. And when that lady said $1,400, I knew it was over. And when she said $400 to cremate, I know it was over. Because Rico, you gotta, baby, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. My heart goes out to that dog. And that's Rico's friend. Because Rico really didn't have nobody else except that dog. That dog was the only thing loyal to Rico. But I'm telling you, boy, do not take that dog home and put that dog in the freezer. Could you imagine it? A refrigerator that you put your ice cubes in, that you put your meat in, and then all of a sudden you got dog up in there. And then he said, you all the whole interaction with him and other people. Rico don't even know how to talk to people outside of YouTube. The way you were talking to the vet in the vet tech. I don't have any money. I don't have any funds. Are there any programs that I can use to bury the dog? Or do you all have any way to tastefully, deal with the dog? Because I don't have money. See, that lady was telling you, Rico, that, baby, we don't have until Wednesday. Okay? We don't have until Wednesday. It has to be done now. We're not holding that dog. We're not holding the dog. So you either got to have $1,400 now to do the autopsy, or you got to have $496, $500 to do the cremation. And you're talking about, well, I go to work. That lady don't care about your work. Now, if you were in the South, they would probably try to work with you. But baby, you in New York, they ain't trying to work with you. You know how many dogs they see? Dig a hole, make a makeshift cross. But Rico, those are the options and choices you have. And you always talking about people who got choices. See, this is the thing. I got options and choices. If my dog were to die, heaven forbid, if my dog were to die tomorrow, I can bury my dog. I could cremate my dog. Because I said, if I'm going to get a dog, I got to have insurance. I have to have these things, especially as the dog gets older. But nobody on YouTube owes me one dime for my dog. Nobody. And my heart goes out because you were really hurting. But this is why I don't talk about people's stuff like that. You talked about my dog yeah, and I'm like, my dog is not malnourished. My dog is healthy and thriving. My dog sees a doctor regularly. You always speaking on people. You always want to be an antagonist. But then when people were saying to you, don't put that dog in the freezer, you cussing the folk out. But the people are right. That's unhygienic. That's crazy work. But Rico, you got to invest in yourself, sir. If you want more options, you got to get more options. Let me tell you something. Living on that government assistance and working those low-wage jobs, that's what you're going to continue to get. You have to invest in you. Nobody can change you. You have to come to that realization yourself. I can't change you. But this should be a wake-up call that I want better. So if something were to happen to someone or something I love, I can take care of them properly. Because you're talking about, I want to take care of my dog properly, but you don't have the funds and the resources to do that. My heart goes out. My heart goes out to the dog. Because Rico, all you did was get that dog a bath. If you see blood in your stool, you know you better go to the doctor. You was giving that dog pain medication. Human. Aspirin. So again, I am not talking about the dog, because the dog really didn't ask to be here. The dog had no other choice. Now that cat said, I am out. Soon as that hoe opened that door, that cat was gone. That cat was gone. That cat said, the hell with this. And I'm going to tell you what, Rico Jr. would have been alive had he stayed at that animal shelter. So the irony of this is you brag that you got that dog back. You brag that, but now you don't have your dog. And to be honest, he was probably better at the shelter getting a home where people could properly and adequately take care of him, because you can't even take care of yourself, much less a dog. And that's the irony of the story. That is the irony of the story. That dog would have been living probably had he been in that shelter still. That dog faced a greater chance of living at a no-kill shelter than living, because at least at the shelter, they get regularly checked up. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. All of that bragging, I got my dog, I got my dog, you don't have your dog now. And unfortunately, I believe your dog would have been better off with somebody else who could properly care for him. Yeah, Rico thought that dog was a plaything. You can't feed dogs everything. If I eat popcorn, I make sure no kernels or nothing. If I eat chocolate, I'm looking everywhere, because I know that will tear up a dog's system. In Texas, you better have your dogs with shots, because all it takes is a mosquito to bite the dog and they have heartworms. I mean, really taking care of a dog properly is not an easy task, and it's not cheap. It is not cheap. You got to have some change. You cussing at the bus driver. You cussing at the people at the tech. They trying to do the best they can. Rico, you don't even have no money. You going to these places without no money. This shit ain't free. And I hate to say that, but it ain't free. Even if your dog was resuscitated, how are you going to pay for it? You can't even pay for the dog in death. So how are you going to pay for the dog living? But yet you flexing, talking about something. You got free housing. You up there flexing because, you get SNAP benefits. But what does that do for you when you have a dog and you can't pay for it? Because they don't take food stamps at the place. This is what I'm saying about decisions and choices. I am not better than Rico. I don't think I'm better than Rico. But baby, it's the choices you make and it's the decisions you make that, baby, it's so many learning lessons in this. You always coming for folk. You always mad. You came at me yesterday because of I talked about that little storage and it got to your spirit. Well, you should have been taking care of your damn dog. But what were you doing? You was up there worried about what I'm saying. But you should have been taking care of your dog. You worried about a ring and you should have been taking care of your dog. Your dog, and my heart goes out to the dog. Because if you really love Rico, like you said, you would have got your ass a real job and got that dog some dog insurance. And then have the nerve to talk about something, you're going to put that in the freezer. And the people say, not the freezer at home. I mean, and then people kept on saying it. He was like, y'all crazy? I'm not going to leave my dog. Y'all crazy? And folk were like, nigga, you ain't gonna know to make us feel like we crazy. You just said you gonna put a whole 65-pound dog in a freezer, and we know you don't have no deep freezer. The only freezer you got is in your house in that refrigerator. with your other food, girl, I was like, I know you crazy. I said, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel real quick. But again, this is why I don't even argue with Rico anymore, because Rico, something is not working all the way. Something is not connected. Some of these synapses to trigger brain activity ain't moving. Something ain't right. And even in grief, I have sense enough to say, do you all have any programs? Or can you all call a program? Do the Humane Society have a program so I can bury this dog or cremate this dog? That's one question. And then the second question is, okay, if y'all don't have that, then how can I tactfully dispose of this corpse? Tactfully dispose of this corpse since I can't take it back home. Baby, when she said she was going to put that dog in the freezer, I was like, oh, hell. The girls are not well. Honey, the girls are not well. They truly ain't well. The girls ain't well. It's not illegal, but the thing is, baby, I'm not arguing. If y'all think that that's the right thing to do, then okay, go ahead and do it. The right thing to do was to make sure that you could see, let me say this. The right thing to do is to make sure you could take care of the dog. You got to ask yourself the question, can I walk the dog? Can I play with the dog? But it gets deeper than that. Can I afford my shots? If something were to happen to my dog, can I afford to help the dog out? See, those are questions that you have, and you got to be responsible. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm kind of done with it, but my thing is, watch what you're saying to other people. Make sure your priorities are straight, because you worried about my ring, you worried about my dog, but now when the rubber hits the road, you can't even cremate your dog. When that lady said $1,400 for that autopsy, I'm like, oh, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. That ain't happening, Captain. And when she said $496 for the cremation today, what happening? So my heart goes out to Rico Jr. I hope, and the dog sound like she suffered. Sound like she was in pain, because again, when you are pooping blood and you see blood in the stool, that's a sure sign that that dog should have been taken right then and there. But I'm going to say this, you all. At the end of the day, Rico was fighting with me on Lady Nika channel about storage in a ring. And while you was doing that, you could have been taking care of your dog. And let me say this too. As dirty as that house is, I wouldn't be surprised if that dog got into something. I mean, be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if that dog got into something and started chewing on something. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All I'm going to say is my condolences to Rico Jr. My condolences. My condolences. Okay, y'all. The next thing is, baby, they said that YouTube camera was a little inquisitive about Donald Goins paying for somebody's utility bill. Woo, y'all so messy. Now I don't know who DG was paying for, but somebody was a little inquisitive about whose bills you're paying. Mm, my. Now, yes, y'all know somebody emailed me that because I wouldn't know that, baby. But the girls emailed me that. Hmm. So, anybody know anything about light bills and water bills being paid for? And they said that YouTube camera was very inquisitive. My. Getting upset because somebody paid for his bills is why. Whoa, my. Hold on, y'all. My. But they said that she was very inquisitive. But you know what? Let me say this though. If you didn't ever have any relationship with that man, if you don't have nothing to do with that man, y'all really didn't have nothing, then what's the big concern? What's the big concern? That's my question. What is the big concern? I'm gonna leave it at that. But somebody say somebody was a little perturbed. Say somebody was a little touched in their spirit about the electric bill being paid, some kind of bill. Now, did he pay? Did he pay her bill, or did the person in question pay the bill? I'm trying to figure out who bill got paid because somebody was saying that somebody was a little inquisitive. Notice I didn't say upset. I didn't say perturbed. I said somebody was very curious, very inquisitive of somebody getting bills paid. Now, was Donald DG bills getting paid, or was DG paying somebody bills? But all I know is somebody was mad because somebody bills was getting paid. And I'm just like, well, baby, why you upset if somebody bills getting paid if you really don't have nothing to do with them? Hold on for a minute, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm so sorry. I actually got a call. But let me say this, you all. Again, it is what it is. Now, let me do this last thing here. Um, that the DG thing, and I think that's pretty much it. You all, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I may have forgotten something else. I may have forgotten something else, but that dog didn't do. Let me say this, y'all. I know Rico is grieving, and I know Rico is upset, but I really hope that this is a wake up call for Rico to do something different, for Rico to really invest in himself. Because when you think that government assistance is a flex, it's not. As long as you stay on that assistance and don't advance yourself, that doctor situation is what you're going to see every time. You got a dog, but you cannot do an autopsy because you don't have the money. And you can't cremate the dog because you don't have the money. And see, this is the thing again. Insurance, you could have had it. And you coming after me, you all up in my finances, you all up in what I'm doing, but you can't even bury your dog. And my heart goes out to the dog. Because like I said, I do believe that dog would have still been alive at the shelter. At the shelter. It's never too late, Ebony. It's never too late. Some people got to have a real epiphany. It's never too late. It is never too late. As long as you got breath in your body, you got a chance. But Rico is at the age that he can turn around if he wants to. And you cussing people out is not going to bring your dog back. You cussing me out is not going to bring your dog back. None of that. And this is why I keep on telling you, y'all don't bother me cussing me out. And that's why I asked the question, how that going to help you? How that's going to help you? See, the best revenge is success. The best revenge is success. You fussing back and forth with me don't do nothing. It gives people content. It gives you a temporary feeling of, okay, I told you. But at the end of the day, it don't bring your dog back. At the end of the day, it doesn't put money in your pocket. And I really felt bad for Rico. Yo, I'm not lying. I really felt bad for Rico when he went to that doctor's office and the vet said it was $1,400. And then he said, I get paid on Wednesday for the cremation. And I'm like, Rico, those people don't care about when you get paid. That lady said, I need my money now. We can't do nothing for you. And when your only other option is to take your dog and put him in the freezer, you need to reevaluate your priorities. You can say whatever you want about me, but my dog would never be in a freezer. You know, you up there, lyric, she ain't eating. No, my dog eats well. My dog is a fast dog. She's a greyhound mixed with something. Of course, she's going to be slim. But every time I go to the doctor, she's at the perfect weight. She's at the perfect weight. Every checkup, her teeth My doctor said, you know what? You need to give her some more greenies so she can get her teeth clean. And that's exactly what we did. You know why? Because we get my dog checked up. And what did I do? Get the greenies. I got those things so she can get her teeth clean. Every time she go to Petco to get groomed, they brush her teeth. When was the last time you got that dog groomed? When was the see again? These are not tough questions. And notice, I'm not coming at Rico's character. I'm not besmirchifying his name and calling him out of his name. I'm just speaking truth. I'm just speaking truth. I'm gonna tell y'all again. All of this rigmarole, how is it helping you? How it's that's why I don't fight with people anymore. Cause I'm like, baby, the only thing this is doing is putting money in my pocket. But really, I really don't give a damn where you live. I might see it and say something about it, but at the end of the day, it really. But my thing is, y'all too. This dog was Rico's companion because Rico didn't have nobody. And I think the irony of this story, once again, is that you fought nail and tooth to get that dog back, only for that dog to die in your custody. And you don't have a dog now. And I truly do believe had that dog been at the shelter, that dog still would have been living. That dog would have been living. And then you're trying to make other people feel that they're crazy because you said you was gonna stuff a dog in a freezer. And this is why I think people should step away from YouTube. I was listening to your conversation with the doctor. I was listening to your conversation with the bus driver. Rico, you don't have no emotional intelligence. You get emotional. You start cursing at that doctor had nothing to do with what your situation was. Those people have jobs, Rico. They have policies and procedures, Rico. And see, y'all think y'all work on y'all time and y'all think y'all work on no. There's a real world out there, Rico. There's real consequences and things out there. And now reality hits you because this ain't make believe land. This is actually reality. And this is what I keep on saying, invest in yourself, Rico. I ain't better than nobody, but I'm going to invest in me. And before I got a dog, I made sure that I could take care of the dog. And I'm not the only one because I have help. The dog has two parents. And it's more about you than that dog, Rico. I'm going to tell you, it is more about you than that dog. And Mondon, that's what I was saying. Who's to say that that dog didn't get a mothball or rat poisoning or something that was toxic in your apartment? I clean my house to make sure nothing that could obstruct my dog's throat or anything that would be toxic would be in my house, even the yard. When he was saying that he was giving the dog aspirins and stuff, I'm like, are you giving that dog human stuff? But the freezer got me. The freezer got me. Do you think that it's dignified to stuff a dog in the freezer? And I know he was upset, but you got to pull back. And this is the thing. Why even come on YouTube? Why even come on YouTube with something as private as that? Even in a dog's death, the dog can't even have peace. Why did you bring that on? Did you want money? Did you want sympathy? Rico, these people are not your friends. And this is the thing. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you sympathy. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything, Rico. Now, again, my condolences to the dog because I'm sad that that animal had to suffer. But I'm going to tell you something, Rico. That dog probably would have been better in this shelter. And I think it was cruelty that that dog ingested something, whatever it was, and got sick. I think it was cruelty that you know that that dog pooped blood and you didn't do anything right away. And the thing is, you were busy fighting with me on Lady Nika channel. And then you cussing people out because people know that it's a little off that you thinking about putting that dog in your freezer. And then you get mad at that. And honey, I know Stump Down gonna eat you up. See, I gave you a little, I give people grace because I think Rico has some cognitive issues. I really do. I think Rico, there's something not there. They're not all there. And I give him grace. I don't mess with him though, because again, he's so angry and bitter that he takes YouTube real because he has emerged it, or he has just made it a part of his real life. Can't deal with that because now you're delusional. Now you're working in delusion. These people owe you nothing. These people are not your friends. Will they do friendly things towards you? Yes. Do they care for you? Probably so. But they really don't know you. And again, Rico, a lot of people want to know, why did you come on? You came on when the dog wasn't doing well. You came on. Why come on? Did you want people to share in your trauma? Did you think everybody was going to be okay with what you were doing? Baby, I know Stump Down going to eat you up. I know he going to eat you up. All of that. I got my dog. I got my dog. I got my dog. And it's unfortunate because you was using that dog as leverage and all of that stuff. See, I mean, if Donegal is paying electric bills, maybe he'll pay for Rico's funeral service. Baby, I don't know about that. Oh Lord, that it's a lot going on, y'all. It is a lot. But please know that don't mix your real life up with this mess. Now you all understand why if I get married, nobody ain't gonna know about it. Now y'all understand if Lyric gets sick and it's expire, that I'm not gonna be on here talking about something. I'll tell y'all if Lyric died, but I'm not gonna. Yeah. Let me tell you something. The truth always come out in the end. The truth always come out in the end. The truth always comes out in the end. And maybe people saw something that we didn't see. But I did say, Rico, clean your house up. And see how these things circle back now? This is why I keep on telling y'all, stop putting your mouth on people. Stop putting your mouth on people. When people start wishing death on folk, I don't now. I will go back and forth with you and do a little barb or two with you. But baby, I don't do that wishing death on people and cursing folk lives. Y'all better stop doing that stuff. Y'all better stop doing that stuff. And Rico ain't the only content creator. And it seems like people who do that stuff have the most problems. People who do that junk have the most issues. And there's a reason why. Oh, baby, he talked about my dog. I mean, went there with my dog. She ain't eating. She malnourished. Oh, I'm like, oh my God. And I just sat there and I'm like, did that make you feel better? Because again, you talking about my dog ain't bringing yours back. And see, you busy talking about my dog, projecting what you doing. Because what I'm doing with my dog is living. My dog is healthy. But what you did with your dog or did not do with your dog caused your dog not to be here anymore, unfortunately. Because as soon as you saw blood in the stool, that dog should have been at the hospital. But you know why the dog couldn't go to the hospital right away, Rico? Because even if they patched the dog up and they saved the dog, you don't have money. Because dogs are almost as expensive as some people. Well, not as, but you got to pay for the people. I mean, the dog. So even if you took the dog to the hospital and they fixed the dog up, what were you going to do? And again, Rico, you don't understand that. The lady kept on saying, you can't keep the dog here. These vets don't have holding pens until you get paid on Wednesday. But Brooklyn Butterfly, you got to research. And when was the last time Rico researched something? Y'all let me go. Look, I got to get ready for my brunch. But y'all, this is sad on many levels. My condolences to Rico Jr., the dog, because the dog didn't do anything. The dog didn't do nothing. The dog didn't do anything. It's the owner that has some problems. And until the owner owns up to his issues and start investing in himself and taking accountability and stop blaming everybody else, then the owners will be in the same situation with another. He gonna get another dog and the same thing gonna happen. Because again, you don't even take care of yourself, Rico. So how you gonna take care of the dog properly? I don't have no money. I'm broke right now. Baby, them people didn't care about that. The lady said, well, the dog can't stay here. She kept on talking. It was just like, again, this is deja vu. When that dog went to the shelter, you didn't have money to get the shelter. It was by the grace of God that and let me say this, the only reason why you got that dog back because the police officers didn't show up. They had other things to do. That's the only reason why. Now he said he gonna get that dog and he gonna put that dog in the freezer. Child, let me go on. That is so disturbing on so many levels. And like I said, I'm not calling Rico out by his name. I'm not saying da 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 da. I'm not, because it's really not about calling him out by his name, but it's the actions. It's the actions that we see. It's the actions. The real love of the dog is to take care of him. The real love of the dog would have been make sure you got insurance for him. And make sure the dog was getting his shots. And all of those things. Make sure the dog was getting groomed. Making sure your house is clean enough so the dog won't get into anything. That's the real love of the dog. But now in his death, you trying to do all this. Do you think it's love to stuff the dog in the freezer? But see, Rico, these are the options. Y'all want these grandiose things to happen, but yet you don't invest in yourself and you don't set yourself up to do those things. And then you get mad at people when they really try to tell you the right thing. Nobody wasn't being shady with you, but you were getting mad. And I hope this is a turning point. And y'all can say whatever y'all want. I hope this is the turning point, because again, nobody told Rico to even put this on screen. He put it on screen. He wanted people to see what it was, but not knowing that Rico, this don't put you in a good light either. So y'all, child, let me get on out of here. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Father, help your children. My. All right, y'all. I'll be back on a little later on. Peace and love. Bye.